freezing. The high around 32. So I have a chance for rates to rise partly cloudy with light winds, a low over 22. And tomorrow we'll see mainly sunny skies with light winds and a high around 36. And meteorologist Kyle Electric from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I used to smoke. I thought cigarettes is my best friend.
They were always there for me when I needed a break.
I also thought cigarettes were my best friend, and then they gave me peripheral artery disease.
I smoked and had a stroke. Actually, multiple strokes.
I smoked and I have heart disease.
Here's my tip. If cigarettes are your friend, you need a better friend.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier, furry friends.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectation. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall. Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
Welcome into the locker room, the most sacred of spaces in sports. Talking you through the behind-the-scenes conversations that happen behind closed doors. With former Nebraska football tight end Chancellor Brewington.
Chancellor Brewington, the six-year senior tight end playing his way into the end zone.
And former South Dakota State running back and Nebraska football assistant, Mikey Daniel.
Hand off to Daniel inside the 2 to the 1, and he powers his way into the end zone for a South Dakota State touchdown.
This is The Locker Room, brought to you by Pep Foundation Repair. Here are your hosts, Chancellor Brewington and Mikey Daniel.
Yes, it is a New Year's Eve edition of The Locker Room here on 93.7 The Ticket. Hopefully you had a great 2024 and have an even better 2025. That's the plan for us here in The Locker Room as well. But I'm joined by the host of the show, Chancellor Brewington. Chancellor, how's it going on this last day of the year?
Last day of the year. I didn't even know really it was New Year's Eve until Rico told me, which is crazy. I didn't know. But I'm having a great day. I hope everyone out there is having a great day. And like I say, if you're not having a great day right now, up to this point, you can create a new day and you can have a good one. So you got the power to do so. And this is The Locker Room. I'm Chancellor Brewington. Over to my right is Bach. I know he just introduced, but I got to do it too. But we got a great show up on course today. Starting off, we've been doing this thing where we do a quote card. We do some type of encouragement. And yesterday I went off of the topic of know thyself, and it's inscribed on the top of the temple of Apollo in Delphi, Greece. It talks about know thyself, and I kind of want to stay on this topic of know thyself for the like a little know thyself series. And I think that question, I said this yesterday, I think that question of like, do you know yourself? I think it can be answered many different ways, and I think it can be thought of many different ways. I think we can think we know ourselves until we hit a certain circumstance and it reveals, we really don't know ourselves. There's a saying that, you should speak your truth and that you should be yourself. Well, my rebuttal to that would be, don't speak your truth if you don't know what truth is, and don't be yourself if you don't know who you are. Right. So I think we all have to go through that process. I think we all have to go through that uncomfortable process. We talked about it. That knowing yourself and going through that process is really uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable. Why? There's this thing called a paradigm. A paradigm is, by definition, it's a mental program that almost exclusively controls your habitual behavior, right? And that's all in your subconscious mind. So your mind or consciousness mind, it has two compartments. You can think of it as a circle and cut in the middle. The top of it is your conscious, bottom is your subconscious, right? In your subconscious, you got your belief systems, your paradigm, your self-image, which we talk about. There's a book review I did, Psycho-Cybernetics, if anyone wants to read more on that. But we talked about that, and inside of that is your self-image. And we talked about yesterday, Bach, that we cannot operate outside of our self-image. It's impossible. Our self-conception controls our reality. It's literally what we see and what we encounter. If you want to get a little bit more, go to the next level, you can go to the law of attraction. You can only attract what you are, right? And what you are is based on your self-conception or your self-image. And I think knowing yourself is to dig up these things. And that's why, people go to therapy and they do, they go to a therapist, they sit on someone's couch, and what a therapist's job is to dig up the subconscious, right? All these different things that happen in your life, childhood trauma, all these different things, dig it up and reframe it, right? So you reframe all these different experiences that you had from a childhood, which usually is when your paradigm is formed when in the childhood, right? So this concept of knowing thyself, I think the first thing is to examine your habitual behavior, which is your paradigm. I think you examine, why you do things. And the simplest things, I think, starting with like why do you wake up at the time you do? Well, it's a program, right? It's your mental program. Why do you, why does a certain situation cause a certain emotion for you, right? And I think as you start to study yourself, you become to know yourself. And and we talk about subconscious. Well, you also have a conscious thought where thought comes in, where you can originate thought. And I know for a fact that there's certain thoughts that we think that get planted into our subconscious, which then has to be externalized in our life, right? And in the physical realm, that we don't even know we're planting in there because we don't even catch it or detect it because we're not aware of ourselves, right? And to take that a step further, the more we become conscious of our thoughts, the more we become conscious of what we're planting. And then honestly, then you can kind of reverse it now that you're not really looking at the physical of, all the expressions. Now you're catching it at the beginning. You're catching your thought and all these different things. But no, it's an interesting thing. And we'll stay on this topic of knowing thyself to start off, the shows this week. But it's pretty awesome. And I encourage it. And I'll continue to say this, like the journey to knowing thyself, it's probably not talked about, a whole bunch, and it's probably not encouraged a whole bunch because, to encourage it and to talk about it means that you have to go through it yourself, right? Or you can just be a spokesman and, this and this. But there's some fantastic books out there. The first book that I will read if you really want to go on this journey, I'm telling you, it will help you and it'll change your life. As a Man Think of James Allen. It's only like 60 pages, but it's deep and it's good. But we got some Nebraska football news. Jalen Lloyd hits the transfer portal. What are your initial thoughts, Buck? I always ask you first. What are your initial thoughts? I know you probably talked about it in Captain, maybe talked about it last hour with Steve Taylor and DP. What are your initial thoughts?
Well, for me, it's just he was one of my favorite players because of the potential that he had, the speed that he had. Certainly saw that his freshman year, 3 long touchdown grabs of the 6 receptions that he had. And so coming into this year, I thought, okay, he might be one of the biggest benefactors of having a quarterback like Dylan Raiola as opposed to what he had his freshman year. So I thought, this was going to be a big season for him. Well, it was kind of tough. They brought some receivers in, ended up only having 13 catches, a couple, handoffs here and there. But a player similar to him in Ja'Cory Barney, or I don't want to say similar, but similar stature with kind of the speed element, kind of came in, seemingly took his role. So much to sort of the point that they were throwing a lot of line of scrimmage passes to Ja'Cory Barney. So he's just getting a lot of touches. He set the freshman record for receptions. Meanwhile, Jalen Lloyd's just kind of in the background, still kind of in that potential category. Maybe he'll get there someday, maybe he won't. And so that's kind of where you left off after his sophomore season. I was excited to see his career progress. I'm still excited to see his career progress. It just might not be in the scarlet and cream now. But so, it's a loss. I think it's more of a potential what could be lost than maybe what you have had. I think the wide receiver room is set up. They've got Dane Key coming in. They've just got a lot of guys coming in that I don't think they're going to be missing for talent or for guys that they can put out there and get reps with. But you can't teach speed. And that's one thing that Jalen definitely did have.
Yeah, he did have speed. And I think the first thing I think of when you're talking about his role with this team last year, you think about him. He's the guy who stretched the field, did some reverse stuff, jet sweep stuff with him. Well, Ja'Cory Barney now, kind of has that role. And I think Jalen Lloyd is a different type of receiver than Ja'Cory Barney. I think he can play a little bit more traditional slot. I think is a bit better route runner than Ja'Cory. I think he's a little bit more detailed in his route running, but I think Ja'Cory just has like some type of explosive element to him that maybe Jalen doesn't have. Maybe obviously Jalen's more of a Lloyd is more of a vertical guy, right? Track, all that good stuff. He can run that curve, of course, but I still think he's a really good receiver. And I think for track guys, usually the question always for the fast guys too is always ball skills. What type of ball skills does the guy have? What type of can he catch the football outside of his body? Is he always bringing it in? All those different questions. I think he checks the box off for most part, and he can run routes. So he's gonna get an opportunity to play somewhere. I would assume big, and of course, like you said, I wish him the best. I think it goes to some guys were waiting after the bowl game to head out of there and to do to test the market. And for Jalen Lloyd, I don't know if there's a real thought of coming back, because you have to think. I mean, you're bringing in Dane Key, you're bringing in Hunter from Cal, you're bringing in Naziah Hunter, you're bringing in him, you're bringing in some other guys too, young guys, freshmen, right? So it's not like you're just competing against the transfers. You're also competing against the guys who are already there, right? And I'm sure Carter Nelson is going to grow into a new role. I'm sure Ja'Cory Barney is going to grow into a new role. So you're already fighting uphill battle being a number 2. And not to say he's not talented enough to be a number 1. It's just the way the cookie crumbled. Sometimes I'll tell you this, in college football, sometimes guys just get hot. Guys just get hot and they just run away with the job. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're the better guy. But they, results do paint the picture, and they are the true teller of the story. So, Ja'Cory definitely has the results. Maybe Jalen Lloyd gets the same opportunities. Maybe he's crazy better, or maybe he's a better football player, or produces better results than Ja'Cory. But that's the news for the transfer portal. And of course, there's already been a lot of guys in the portal. You got Kai Wallen hits Oregon State. You got James Williams to Florida State. You got Nate Borkature, which was probably my sleeper surpriser. I figured maybe Fedoni, but not Borkature. He goes to Texas A&M. And then, of course, you got Jamari Butler to LSU. You got Prince Will to Ole Miss. You got Stephon Thompson to Florida State. So there's been some movement. But I think as guys leave and as different positions get a little thinner, it gives opportunity for new pieces to come in. And you never know with the piece you bring in, like what type of first of all, juice he's going to add to that side of the ball, right? You don't know, you don't really know Tommy Hill from ASU, 3 years ago was going to be a, slotted first round draft pick. I know this year happened, but slotted first round draft pick, when you bring him in from ASU under the Frost regime, right? You don't really know, you got this kid's got talent, he's got potential, but you don't really know, right? And so I think that's the optimistic side I see in the portal, because there's a positive and a negative to everything. There's the negative might be that you lose some guys, but the positive is you make room for some new guys, and whether you get the right guys is on you. And I think by becoming more of an attractive program, obviously winning, that's number 1, but also resources, NIL collective, boosters, that good stuff. And then, who you are as a coach and what you're attracting as, other players inside your organization. So, man, best of luck. That's, and that's what it is, man. I want to see everyone do good. And it's not always it's not always Nebraska. It's not always, I still keep up with some of the guys that I played with, and they decided to transfer. Sevion Morrison went to Kansas. Now he's going to Tulsa. Like, it's not like there's bad blood because there's never bad blood. You want everyone to succeed, and of course, maybe some guys leave in an abnormal fashion or a not very classy fashion, right? But at the end of the day, you only get 4 years to play this game at the college level, at the collegiate level. COVID if you're lucky, and you want to make the most of it. And guys have opportunities to or aspirations to do this and this. I think the biggest thing is for people to obviously, want them to do better. Because I mean, everyone out there, no matter if I see construction guys fixing, some whatever, like you want people to wish you well. So you got to wish others well as well.
Well, and I think too, it's hopefully for most people, it's kind of the once a Husker, always a Husker thing. And
right.
I always kind of go back to whether they spent a year in the program, whether they spent 5 minutes signing and then decided to move on. They're kind of more of a Husker football player than most of us that are yelling from the rooftops, right? So there's always kind of that, and they put a lot of work into it. And so I think for the most part, it's an adjustment for a lot of fans to see all their guys go, and it's an adjustment again for the fans who at one time saw recruiting classes, thought, well, I wonder what this guy's going to be in 4 years. And so, again, just kind of adjusting to what your college football experience is. But I hope that, without, there's always a few examples, like you said, maybe there's somebody that leaves abruptly or something. Seemingly, the better you do, even for the school, the more disdain there will be for you if you leave. So maybe none of it all makes sense to begin with. But I think from the majority of people, there is an understanding of what, this person, at least maybe they didn't finish their career here, but they spent some time here. And so we will cheer for them as Huskers. I hope that's the case for most people. I think that that's the case for most people. There's always going to be outliers. There's always going to be, a few folks you don't want representing your fan base that sometimes are the most vocal. But, for the most part, that's what it is. Now, let me ask you this, because I do find the timing interesting of waiting till after a bowl game in which he had one reception. Again, I don't know what exactly this has to do with. I think partially could be a usage rate type of deal, or, just kind of seeing what Barney did. And if that opportunity went to Lloyd, it very easily he could be the Barney at a new school, right? A school that doesn't have a speedster that can break away big plays, like he's got 19 yards average or whatever his average is this year. I think that, sometimes it's nice just to be the shiny new toy rather than the guy that's kind of, okay, we'll see how he progresses.
Yeah, and I agree. I think when he goes somewhere, first of all, his speed's gonna, he's gonna test off the charts when they do the guys come home from January and they test and stuff, run 40s, jump and all that good stuff. He's gonna test off the charts. And I think it's almost like a thing you wait. And this would be my guess with the philosophy of why you would wait after is, okay, Isaiah Nayer's down. I'm the number 2 behind Isaiah Nayer. I'll get a chance to possibly, snap and go crazy, meaning have a good game and get a couple more opportunities. But that being said, I don't think there was much of a concern to where my theory yesterday of why guys wait after is because the money dries up. Now I think with his situation, you have an opportunity to showcase just a little bit more. And I think it was, if I'm just guessing, if I was in his shoes, I probably would have known I was going in the portal the whole time. Because I think if Isaiah Nayer played, then, or, didn't hit the point, then that's a whole nother conversation. Is he going to the draft? Is Isaiah Nayer going to the draft?
His initial idea was to go to the draft, and then he announced he went to the portal. So I'm assuming,
so he's in the portal.
Yeah, he's portaling right now.
Okay, I'm like, I seen a tweet that say Isaiah Nayer going to the draft, and I said, oh, I thought he was a senior, like best of luck to you. And then I thought it was like a joke going to the portal, like, everyone going to the portal. So I kind of laughed it off. And then like people was like talking about it. I'm like, wait, didn't he go to the the draft. So that's interesting. I didn't know. Maybe I was the only one who didn't know that.
Well, it's kind of funny because all year long he had the opportunity basically for having to sit out the year that he did at Texas. I don't think he ever got the official year extra for that. So they just kind of went along with his years, but there was always kind of a year in the balance there for him. So it's interesting. It's still, again, whether he's in the Husker uniform or not, it's interesting to decide whether, if you're kind of at that age, because he has been, the 4 or 5 years spent in college, at that age, wants to go now and give the NFL a shot, or to try to get one last big impression. And could he have done that at Nebraska? Is interesting. He put up a decent stat line this season. So he's going to be an interesting guy in the portal, but obviously his size, speed, that sort of stuff will be just as enticing as it was to us seeing him from the outside. But you just kind of wonder, and now maybe he got feedback for what his draft prospects were, and you would hope that he would have got that before the decision. But it's very interesting. It's very interesting to go from thinking you're ready for the NFL or preparing for the NFL to now jumping to another team, a third team, for your college career.
Yeah, and that's
team, I think, right?
Yeah,
fourth team,
so you go what was it? Texas?
No, it was Wyoming,
Texas, Nebraska, blank.
Yeah,
we don't know number 4. Well, I mean, and this is where it's going, man. Like this is where it's going. Like I just mentioned, one of my former teammates. I mean, he's on his 3rd school, and maybe in 2017 when I came to college, like that wasn't happening. That was, first of all, you would have to sit out a year, right? And when the portal thing really opened up around 2020, that wasn't really happening. And now it's a completely different thing. And maybe this is going to be the commonality moving forward, but it's tough to build culture like this. It's really tough to build culture. So the adjustment from the coaches who adjust the fastest right now during this, and I think, depending, I would love to examine a little bit closer of what Coach Belichick is doing over at UNC. Because he might have some formula in that 200-page Bible he sent over.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I don't know if he has an Old Testament or a New Testament in there, but we got to check that out.
Sounds like both.
If he's winning, it might be just Bill's Testament, but and I think Rule is kind of, from what I hear, you kind of come in. I think all the coaches come into their respective places during this time, and they're like, I'm going to do it this way and this, and this. And I think as things evolve, you kind of realize that the beast is the beast, and you have to kind of conform to it in a way, and I don't try to be morbid by saying beast and nothing like that, but like, I guess like the system, like the system is in place. And if you try to go around the system, like the system going to win every time. Right. And I don't think we see that happen a lot. You look at all the college football teams that's in the playoffs, like they benefit off the portal, but they've also, maybe had a, Scatterboo and Sam Levitt, like, Michigan State and Cam Scatterboo from Sac State. Right. Mm-hmm. And some could even say that Cam Scatterboo is a culture guy. Like he's someone who is developed in the culture. Right. But really he's a transfer. And I think that's the new culture development, is bringing in transfers. Maybe guys that, snap off for a year, younger guys, that got 3 years, 2 years eligibility, grooming them. And I think the amount of grooming, the time of grooming now needs to be condensed. That's what the topic shouldn't be for coaches. It shouldn't be, hey, we need to have guys for 3-4 years, whatever. No, you need to figure out how to groom these guys in six to 12 months, because that's the timetable now. And money is the fact. Money is obviously, and money and the ability to transfer, of course, is the factors in the common denominators that you're dealing with. So now, when I bring in Cam Scatterboo as a redshirt freshman with 3 years left, I have to develop Cam. By the end of sophomore year, I need him to be his fullest potential, or all these different things, right? But I think that's something moving forward in college football. Coaches is going to have to understand, and players going to have to understand too, is that when I go somewhere, it's not let me I can get my footing as before. You're thinking you go to school for 4 years. First year you redshirt. 2 years later after that. Well, if you transfer somewhere, you have to make sure that you're ready to provide and give results for that team right away and be productive. And I think anything outside of that is probably an old way of thinking. And unless they change it, if they change the portal rules and everything changes, then you can go back. But if things are changing, you got to change with it.
Well, it's like you said. I mean, the coaches that will have success will be able to adjust. I'm sure there'll be plenty more adjustment in the next couple of years, and adjustment on the fly as it is right now. Let's take a quick break here in the locker room on New Year's Eve. We'll be back after this.
League One Volleyball is bringing the action to Omaha with Omaha's first serve on January 24th at 7 p.m. Central Time at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena. Witness history in the making as Love Omaha Volleyball takes on Love Madison in the team's inaugural home match. Be there to watch Olympic teammates Jordan Larson and Lauren Carlini go head-to-head in a battle of the world's best. Visit lovboma.com for tickets starting at $31. Volleyball is the next major league.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl Jordan with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Let's talk about trading up. Not what you're thinking. You could never trade her in, but you can trade up her stone if you like. Signify the growth of your love, the challenges you have overcome, or any part of your love journey by trading up her diamond. Whether it's been 5 years, 25 years, or 50, say it with a bling. Big love, big bling. We got you. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing.
and electrical.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall, Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Salt Mine City is now open at 8th and R in the Haymarket. Come check out Lincoln's newest brewery with 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager, Brick Street Amber Wheat, and so many more. There's daily drink specials like $1 off Moscow Mules on Tuesdays, $6 IPAs on Fridays, and $6 Bloody Marys on Saturdays. Stop by Tuesday through Thursday from 4 to 9 p.m., Fridays 4 to 11 p.m., Saturdays 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Sundays from noon to 8 p.m. It's Salt Mine City, Lincoln's newest brewery at 8th and R.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I'm proud of my Nebraska roots, and I'm proud to be back home. And at Midwest Bank, they're proud to be your local community bank. They believe in family first, taking initiative, showing integrity, and rolling up their sleeves to support their local communities. They treat everyone like family, no matter where you're from. Whether you walk into a branch in York, Lincoln, Norfolk, or Pierce, you know you're going to be welcomed with a smile. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. for happier, healthier furry friends.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day, but it will be breezy. We'll see a high around 32. Tonight, a chance of 4 rays, otherwise partly cloudy with light winds, and a low near 22. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with light winds and a high around 36. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Looking to upgrade your equipment? Landmark Implement, your John Deere dealer in Nebraska and northern Kansas, has an offer you don't want to miss. Through December, purchase a model year 2022, 23, or 24 tractor, combine, or sprayer, and take advantage of financing as low as 3.9 for 60 months. That's right. Get the equipment you need with affordable payments designed to keep your operation running strong. Stop by your local Landmark Implement today or visit landmarkimp.com to learn more. Experience the Landmark difference.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
You're listening to The Locker Room with Chancellor Brewington and Mikey Daniel. Brought to you by App Foundation Repair on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back here on New Year's Eve in the locker room on 93.7 The Ticket. Thanks for joining us all year long. It's been a very fun, successful show so far into this year. And we'll go jump into 2025. We got a few things to give away here in the locker room. You're going to have to come get them. Come to the station and get them. 1040 O Street. We have chocolate, raspberry, rum cakes. Let's go with first two people on the text line, 402-464-5685. That say, I want cake. Well, you win the cake. You can come down here and pick them up. We also have 4 tickets to the Lincoln Stars tonight. We're not going to make this too difficult. We know it's a quick turnaround for tonight. But if you don't have any plans for New Year's Eve, or you think that would be an exciting way to ring in the New Year's, I know it would be. Go ahead and text in, give me the Stars tickets, or, Stars, something like that. Let us know that you'd like the Stars tickets. The first person to do so, 402-464-5685, will win those Stars tickets. And then again, come by the studio, 1040 O Street, to pick them up. But this is the second segment of the locker room here on 93.7 The Ticket with Chancellor Brewington. Chancellor, what are we thinking for this segment?
Yeah, so we'll get into some things and get your cakes, man. Get your cakes.
That's right.
I mean, Stars games, man. I went to one and they was fighting in there. They was hooting and hollering. It was a great time. It was my second hockey game ever, and I enjoyed it. Make sure you go get your Stars tickets for sure. We start the show off with the quote, and I think I might expand on a little bit more, because guess what, Bot? It's the end of the year. And I think there's a great question. And I asked some friends the other day. I asked some close people in my life the other day, like, first of all, we understand that, what we think about has to, by law, be, created in our life, right? It has to be, what people call manifested in the physical, right? And so if we go back and think about December as a whole, 31 days, right? This is 31st day. So for the past 30 days, if all those thoughts combined had to be expressed in your physical realm, in your life, in circumstances and situations, what would it be? Would it be positive or would it be negative? I think that's the question we have to ask ourselves and be super conscious of what we're thinking about. And so I will continue to challenge, probably for the rest of the week, on this topic of know thyself. And I know it's uncomfortable, and you're probably like, man, well, maybe I didn't think about, I haven't thought about that. And I think sometimes we don't really think. I think, man's greatest problem sometimes is that we don't think. And, the process of thinking might be uncomfortable, and it might be new, and it might be taxing. It might actually get you tired, right? From actually thinking about something and thinking about your thoughts, as strange as that sounds. But I would advise it, and I would recommend it. Back onto, sports and all this good stuff. LeBron, 40 years old yesterday. There's a sad statement he made. He said he could play for 5 to 7 more years, but he's not going to. That means he's going to retire here soon, Bach. And we talked off air about our favorite basketball players growing up, and I think everyone who grew up, I would say early to mid 90s. I was a late 90s. I'm born 99. I think anyone who grew up around that time had an AI phase, meaning the Allen Iverson phase. I think everyone wanted to have at least I did, wanted to have cornrows and a headband, and wear wristbands and baggy shorts. I know I for sure did. And I think, most people during that time also had either a Tracy McGrady phase or, some type of, of course you had the Kobe Bryants. For me, it was Dwayne Wade, man. I love Dwayne Wade. And all of a sudden Dwayne Wade LeBron linked up with Dwayne Wade in Miami, and I got a hold of this Miami dude. I was telling Bach off air. I used to go to one of my friend's house growing up, and his favorite player was LeBron. So he would go to the computer and he would type in the King, right? He would type in the King, and he would go to images, and obviously a bunch of kings, King Harry and King Edward and all these people would show up, and Jesus would be on there, and then all of a sudden, bottom right of the screen, it's LeBron dunking in a Cleveland uniform. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. Like, this dude's name is King, and then he came to Miami, and I just fell in love with the way he played, and his antics are his antics, right? And I call him Unc. So I can't speak for another man, and I never will. But he produced on stage, and I think it's going to be crazy. I believe Steph is 36. I believe KD's 36. Russ is old. Guys are getting old in the NBA, and there's a new era. The Anthony Edwards, the LaMelo Balls, the Luka Doncic, even Jason Tatum is like year 6, or maybe even year 7 right now. Like, so it's a new age in NBA, and obviously NFL too. You think about when I was growing up, obviously the hot position was receivers. You had Julio Jones, Antonio Brown. That was kind of the I would say the height of Keenan Allen. That's when he was mixing people up with the Chargers. I'm trying to think of who else. You had obviously Calvin Johnson, Megatron, and like those were your guys. Like those were. But now it's like, okay, you got Justin Jefferson, and like now CeeDee Lamb is a top 5 receiver. I guess Tyreek Hill is on his way out, right? Travis Kelce is about on his way out. Even Patrick Mahomes, he's not getting old, but he's getting up there in age, right? And so it's kind of like sports kind of tell your age a little bit, like your fandom of sports. Like, I said off air, I was a Rasheed Wallace fan, like, and also I loved Ben Wallace too.
Oh yeah.
We're talking about 04 Pistons.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, if I was to ask one of these in my, back home, they call them young Thundercats, right? One of these young dudes about Ben Wallace, they wouldn't even know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even know who I'm talking about. I would say Ben Wallace would lock your favorite player up. He would. And he would bully him. But yeah, what's your favorite NBA player, Bach?
Oh, that's interesting. I think it's fun that you kind of went through the AI phase, the T-Mac phase. I had both those shoes growing up as well. So you're kind of going through my shoe collection there. But I'm a Celtics fan, so I've been, Tatum and Brown, I suppose. It's weird when you're 34. I don't know if you pick a favorite player of guys that are 10 or 13 years younger than you. But my favorite players growing up definitely were fun to follow. I liked Rondo when he was with the Celtics particularly. It's interesting, and it's fun as we kind of go to this new year right? And you talk about some of the old guard, just that getting old. I don't know what age it is, but there is the age that you hit where there's certain guys, and for me it was like a Reggie Miller with the Pacers or Karl Malone with the Jazz, though he got off them late, where it's just like you realize, like, I don't know, I guess it's when you're 13 or 14 years old and you just realize that guy's been on that team my entire life. And when it changes, it's just kind of like that changes how I identify the Pacers in that
Right.
situation.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the Pacers, you talk about one of my favorite teams in the NBA was that, I'll say it again, the 04 Pistons. You had Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton at shooting guard. You had Tayshaun Prince, Rasheed Wallace, and you had Ben Wallace.
Yeah.
I mean, that's nasty. That squad was nasty. that would I don't know. I really don't know how those type of teams would match up today, probably because I mean, Rip Hamilton will get you 20, right? 24, 25. I mean, Rasheed Wallace, he'll mess around and get you 18 with 12 boards, and Ben Wallace will get you maybe 8 and 10, and Tayshaun Prince will get you a couple threes and lock up your best player. But like the scoring nowadays is just completely different than what it was back then.
Yeah, I remember they had I think them in particular, so their biggest achievement was beating the Lakers, the Super Lakers.
Yeah, and they
Karl
ended the
Malone and
streak.
Gary Payton and all that. Yeah, they had 2 championships in a row. Obviously, Shaq and Kobe, and they were kind of like the team without a superstar, stars, but not superstars. But then I remember their matchups with the Pacers, or excuse me, the Spurs that they'd have, or certain games. They ended up scoring, it'd be like 68 to 72, drag out defensive battles. So it is interesting to think about how they would play in today's game, especially a guy like Ben Wallace, who had no interest in shooting really any offense, but especially, the three in the modern day game and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say he would be useless on the offensive end, but like you talk about the stretch 5 and, the bigs that can, they're setting screens now for Jokic. Like they're setting tunnel screens for Jokic to come up to the top of the paint for a 3. Like you didn't have that back in the day. You mentioned the Spurs. One player we got to stay on this. One player I used to hate, Bach. I used to hate, and I don't use hate. I don't use hate, and I love him, of course, but
sports hate.
Yeah, sports hate. Wasn't too fond of his play. Especially when they played the Heat, was Manu Ginobili. He had the gear he had. You talk about the Euro step, he would sneaky dunk on your favorite player consistently. He was not a fun. That Spurs team used to bug me growing up. I mean, you had Tim Duncan, Tony Parker. I mean, and then they added on Kawhi.
Yeah,
and then that was a whole nother ordeal. I mean, they have the clip of LeBron at the free throw line. He probably missed the free throw, to be honest with you. But, he sees Kawhi Leonard about to sub in, and he rolls his eyes like, oh, shoot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they used to match. Kawhi and LeBron used to match. So, LeBron gets subbed in, Kawhi would get subbed in. Or, LeBron would go out, Kawhi would go out.
Yeah.
Right? And so, yeah, those were the days, man. Those that like 2000. Everyone talks about LeBron's 2011 loss to the Mavs, but
yeah.
I mean, those Spurs teams, they were no joke.
Now, let me ask you this, because it is a topic it's on top of a lot of people's minds recently. Do you think that the new product, a lot of 3 points, do you like that, the modern game, or do you like kind of what we've been talking about, what you kind of grew up with?
I don't. I would say it was a little bit more competitive to watch, like just as a casual fan, like. Just watching guys go at each other a little bit more. Seemed like there was and I hate to say this, it seemed like there was a little bit more defense, just to be honest with you. I think the game changed. And for people, that's why I don't really like it, though, because the conversation of LeBron and Jordan, while you go, you didn't play in the bad boy era and you didn't play against, these great defenders. You didn't play against Rodman and Gary Payton or whatever. Well, I mean, that Piston team in 04, I mean, there were some bad dudes. I mean, you talk about the Kings, in the early 2000s, like those were some bad. I mean, those were some tough teams, right? Defensively. And, those back in I would say like early 2000s to like mid 2000s, I would say 2008 to like 2013 was probably like my favorite year of watching basketball. And then the second best would obviously be Steph and LeBron's matchups. I mean, those were legendary. You can't beat those. You can't beat those.
Yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed watching the game grow and change, and thankfully it's helped me out. I like the 3-point error because that's all I can do. So
Hey, right?
I don't have much size or anything else to help me out with. So, all right, let's take a quick break. We'll be back with our final segment of the locker room in the year of 2024.
Salt Mine City is now open at 8th and R in the Haymarket. Come check out Lincoln's newest brewery with 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager, Brick Street Amber Wheat, and so many more. There's daily drink specials like $1 off Moscow Mules on Tuesdays, $6 IPAs on Fridays, and $6 Bloody Marys on Saturdays. Stop by Tuesday through Thursday from 4 to 9 p.m., Fridays 4 to 11 p.m., Saturdays 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Sundays from noon to 8 p.m. It's Salt Mine City, Lincoln's newest brewery at 8th and R.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing.
and electrical.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Are you a veteran looking for a new companion animal? A dog, a cat, or maybe something else? The Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs Vets Get Pets program can cover up to $350 of your pet adoption fees. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov/vetsgetpets to learn more about program requirements and how to apply. Want to help support the program? Get your Vets Get Pets specialty license plates from the Nebraska DMV. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl Jordan with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Let's talk about trading up. Not what you're thinking. You could never trade her in, but you can trade up her stone if you like. Signify the growth of your love, the challenges you have overcome, or any part of your love journey by trading up her diamond. Whether it's been 5 years, 25 years, or 50, say it with a bling. Big love, big bling. We got you. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
League One Volleyball is bringing the action to Omaha with Omaha's first serve on January 24th at 7 p.m. Central Time at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena. Witness history in the making as Love Omaha Volleyball takes on Love Madison in the team's inaugural home match. Be there to watch Olympic teammates Jordan Larson and Lauren Carlini go head-to-head in a battle of the world's best. Visit lovboma.com for tickets starting at $31. Volleyball is the next major league.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today. We'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day, but it will be breezy. We'll see a high around 32. Tonight, a chance of 4 rays otherwise partly cloudy with light winds, a low near 22. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with light winds and a high around 36. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see decreasing clouds throughout the day, but it will be breezy. See a high around 32. Tonight, a chance of 4 rays, otherwise partly cloudy with light winds and a low near 22. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with light winds and a high around 36. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Looking to upgrade your equipment? Landmark Implement, your John Deere dealer in Nebraska and northern Kansas, has an offer you don't want to miss. Through December, purchase a model year 2022, 23, or 24 tractor, combine, or sprayer, and take advantage of financing as low as 3.9 for 60 months. That's right. Get the equipment you need with affordable payments designed to keep your operation running strong. Stop by your local Landmark Implement today or visit landmarkimp.com to learn more. Experience the Landmark difference.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall. Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
You're listening to The Locker Room with Chancellor Brewington and Mikey Daniel. Brought to you by F Foundation Repair on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back on The Locker Room here on 93.7 The Ticket. Happy New Year's to everybody out there. When it's official, I suppose it's New Year's Eve, not New Year's yet. But what you got any resolutions for the new year, Chancellor?
Resolutions? That's like goals?
Yeah.
Goals? Yeah, I do. I definitely do. I don't really prescribe to like starting them January. I think my grandpa used to say this: aim at nothing, hit nothing. So I think I used to, in football, I used to hate setting goals. Because like I felt I didn't understand the creative process in the individual. So I didn't understand that I could literally create my own reality. I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that I could create my own circumstances. So like when I would set goals, I would think I would leave it up to chance and luck, right? Or I would think I would leave it up to some power that is, hovering over that would create this for me, right? And I guess to answer your question, and this goes into what I was going to talk about anyway. So thanks, Bach. It leads into the thing of like, do we understand that we can create what we want? And, and I'm not saying this fantasy thing that if you say you can, fly, you can fly. I'm saying within the laws of nature and the confinements of, what a human being, quote unquote, can do. And that's a whole nother conversation in itself. But I really believe, and I know, and through studying law and through studying, as I feel like that's the only way you gain confidence, and why I'm able to even say this. But you can create, because guess what? You're whatever you want to call it, God, source, creator, whatever you want to call it. I mean, you're the highest form of creation. I mean, you have the mental faculties, meaning you have a perception, you have an imagination, you have a will, you have intuition, you have all these different things that can help you change your reality. I mean, you're a co-creator. You can literally create. And if you don't believe me, examine your thoughts for 30 days. And at the end of that 30-day mark, watch what happens in your future. It's going to be exactly what you're thinking about. I guarantee it doesn't fail. But most of the time, when we talk about knowing thyself, like we don't understand what we're thinking about. And I think that, first of all, there needs to be some type of awareness. I think that needs to be brought to someone's attention first and say, hey, look, like, what have you been thinking about lately? Right? We know that every imbalance of disease starts with the internal source. So, if someone gets sick, I mean, the question is, okay, what's going on internally, right? And that might conflict with Western medicine, but I definitely have seen testimonies and experiences. My mom healed her own cancer, 10 years ago, and formed a whole product line and a successful business off of healing from the inside out. So, there's enough information out there to sustain that argument of you can create something. And I think we have maybe too many pain points in society. And I think we've normalized that of like, we've normalized that, relationship pain points, of health pain points, of physical pain points, of financial pain points, where we normalize these things and we don't even try to examine them. But I will say this, there's hope out there, and there's a power within each one of us. And I believe that each one of us are on the same level, and I think that level, what some people say, oh, we're just human beings. I think that term human beings is extremely more infinite than we could even understand or conceptualize. I think it's amazing. And I think the potential inside of all of us is, I mean, we have reservoirs. I love how Earl Nightingale says it. We have reservoirs of unlimited potential inside of us, and it's just waiting to be unleashed. But like the analogy of the hose, remember the hose, you turn on the hose, you got a kink in it, the water won't come out fully, right? You fix the kink, the water flows out fully. And that kink is your subconscious. That kink in the hose, that thing that doesn't allow it to flow out properly, is your paradigm, and it's your belief system, it's your self-image. So you change those things by law. I guarantee you, your life has to change. I mean, it's not a thing where it might happen. It is guaranteed by law. We can right now, Bach, NASA scientists can go and measure, a rocket taking off to the moon, and they can measure the flight being landed within the millisecond. Right? They can do that. Why? Because it's through the laws of the universe. It's through the laws of nature. And so they can be studied. They're precise. So the same laws that govern the sun going up and the tide going out, and, the moon, the stars, all these different things, the seasons changing, all these different things, you can literally use those same laws for success. It's the same things. And I think we're going to definitely hit back on this on was it Thursday? But everyone have a great New Year's Eve. Obviously, drink responsibly, drive responsibly, get an Uber, and make sure you check on your loved ones tonight, and don't be walking around the city late at night, for real. Make sure you be safe, but also enjoy your loved ones, and set some goals for this new year, because I guarantee if you believe you can do it, you can do it. That's all that matters.
There you have it. Wise words from Chancellor Brewington. He'll be back with some more of those once again on Thursday on The Block, coming next year on 93.7 The Ticket.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam